Hey YouTube, Chris Wilkes here. Wanted to do some reviews today of some of the gear that I've been carrying. And the next up for me is the Scandi Hunter by TOPS Knives. I actually got this knife in a trade and thought maybe that I would like it, but wasn't sure how much. And turns out it's been my EDC for a little while now, for a couple of weeks. I really like it. I think it's a very versatile knife. So let's take a look at it. Part of this knife's versatility is the number of ways that I can carry it. So number one, it's small enough that I can carry it in my pocket. And that's really important to me because I already have another neck knife. This is not the knife I'm normally going to want to carry on my neck. I generally carry something that is for carving, a carving knife of some sort. And it's not really going to be my primary belt knife. So as part of an EDC, in place of a pocket knife, it needs to be something that can be carried in the pocket. And it fits, really nice. Fits easily in a pocket. So not bulky at all, short enough for a pocket. Okay. So that's the first part of the versatility of carry. The second part, surprisingly, this is the first TOPS knife I've had with this sheath that's got the snap on the bottom. And I was really surprised to find out that I really like it because if I want to move it from my pocket over to my belt, it's that quick. It's that quick. It rides close. It rides high, not in my way at all. So, great knife for sure. Easily take it off my belt, and I don't have to unstrap my belt to do that. And that's nice, especially if you're, I don't know, if you're leaving the woods and you run by a convenience store and you don't want to carry it inside, it's easy to get off. I like it. Now, the third way of carry, of course, you see my cordage, which is great because I've got it if I need it. It's always nice to have extra cordage, but it's ready for neck carry. So if I were going to be using it and I already had a belt knife on and wanted to carry it around my neck for a bit so I could, stick it in and out of the sheath, I could certainly do that. So let's talk about the knife itself. I forget now the total length and I don't have anything to measure. I think the blade is about 3 3/4 inches, a bit under 4 inches, yeah, about 3 3/4 I think. It's got a nice belly on it, so to be a great skinner. Done a little bit of skinning, not much. I've done some cutting. It obviously is a great skinner. It certainly is. It's got the micarta handle. As small as this knife is, this design, it just fits in my hand very well. I mean, I have full control of the knife. I don't, some of these smaller knives, you don't feel like you have a good grip on them. You don't get a good purchase on it necessarily, but the way this one is made, you certainly do. You certainly do. Thumb right over the top of the knife, and it's got some jimping there as well. Now, so it's a great skinner, which is important because I already am going to be carrying another knife that I'll prefer for carving, and I'll probably carry a belt knife that can multitask. It's nice to have a knife that specializes in skinning, and I think this one's going to excel as I continue to carry it and use it. It's got a good sharp tip, so it can puncture everything from gut sacks to potato chip bags. Now, TOPS doesn't seem to care what people think about 90-degree spines and being able to spark with flint, or with a ferro rod for that matter. And okay, so I own a few TOPS knives now, and you might notice that I have not. I actually grind some of them, the spines, and I haven't done it to this one. And there's a couple of reasons why I want to talk about real quick. Number one, I have already discovered that my multi-tool, which I always carry with me, is the best tool to strike a ferro rod with. Okay, my spine on my saw blade here is very, very sharp, and I can produce on most knives. Now I do have some knives with some very good 90-degree spines that, but this does a great job. So I don't have to have the spine of every knife I carry be able to spark with a ferro rod, because I can do it with the multi-tool, which I always have. Now, what if I lose my multi-tool? Good point. Good point. That can happen. So obviously I can use the blade right here to spark with a ferro rod if I lose my multi-tool. Okay. Now, I don't want to do that, obviously. So before I would resort to that, one thing that I had discovered on my TOPS knives is that even though the spine will not spark with a ferro rod, all of my TOPS knives on the edge here, it's actually a sharp 90-degree. So even though this part of the spine will not, this part will. So it's not my in an emergency, you know, it will do. It ain't great. I'm probably missing where I want to be. But it'll produce a spark. So again, not my preference, but it's enough that I can give myself permission not to screw up my knife by grinding the spine. So it certainly can do it. But anyway, great little knife. I do like it. I will be carrying it in the foreseeable future. I mean, it's been a surprise for me. I didn't really expect this knife to become part of my everyday kit. I kind of thought that I would maybe have it with my skinning kit and it would spend some time in a drawer, but turns out it's a pretty neat little knife and very versatile. So check it out. I just wanted to do a little add-on to the reviews I did yesterday on the Scandi Hunter and the Mora Pathfinder. Since I finished those reviews, I've skinned 2 deer, 1 raccoon, and 1 flying squirrel. And these knives perform beautifully. This is a great butcher knife. It was great quartering the deer, making my starter cuts. I did use it some skinning the deer down, but mostly used this one on my skinning once I got my animal started. It's a beautiful skinner. These are a great complementary set, and I think I'm going to be carrying them together for quite a while. So just wanted to say I've had a chance to test them out. Don't have any pictures of the work I did on the deer because it was dark, and you know, none of that ever turns out right anyway. I didn't take the time to do it. But anyway, very pleased with both these knives. Thanks.